This is Chris Reddick with Chris Reddick Financial Planning. In this blog post, I talk about how to determine the real cost of college for your child, okay, or your young adult. Okay, so how do you determine this, right? So that your child's going to go to college, you want to determine, well, how much will it approximately cost? So in 2022, it was $27,940 for a 4-year on-campus public institution with in-state tuition. All right, so a lot of people get confused and they hear, well, that's almost $30,000. Tuition is this much. Okay, so you start with tuition and you have all these other expenses as well, like room and board, technology, and so forth that the student would need, right? So it really can add up. So you're looking around 27,000 for a typical 4-year public institution. You can use a college scorecard as a way to determine the real cost of college for your child, right? So you can figure out how much is it going to cost at this university, and not just tuition, but all the other expenses as well. And then thinking about breaking down all the different costs in all its various components. So we'll talk briefly about each of these 3 components. Okay, so the College Board publishes trends in college pricing. So it gives you a really good picture of what it costs to send a child to college in today's dollars, right? So if you look at for example, public universities, right? As I mentioned, it's around 27,000. You look at and that's for in-state. Out of state's about 43, and then private is about 54. So you can see it can really increase. Now that's a sticker price. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to pay that price for your child, but it gives you a sense of like the ranges it would be. Okay, and then you have also other things like room and board. It's about 10,000 for a 4-year in-state. Transportation, about 1,200, and other expenses. Right, so there's all these additional expenses that you have. Okay, so but overall, it really depends on the major too. So if your major is in the sciences or engineering, you probably pay more than if you're in the liberal arts. So, but the pay that you get, right? So the return on investment that you have will depend on the degree you have. So engineers would get, much higher salary on average than someone who has a major in the liberal arts on average, beginning salary. Okay, so you have to look at the differences that you get. So the actual return on investment of the college education, right? So typically science, you can get the return on investment is higher, and then social science and arts and so forth, it might be less. All right, so how do you calculate your cost of college? Well, the first obvious thing is the tuition and fees cost. So how much is it for tuition and fees? So it's not just tuition. You see the fees, when the fees cover all sorts of services that the university has. So you see tuition, in public universities is pretty constant, right? There's a small increase, but the big increase is in the fees. So really look at the fees that your child's paying and question if it seems out of line. The next big thing is room and board. So actually living on campus, right? Can be on campus or off campus, like so meals, meal plans, and so forth, right? So you can save considerably on the cost if you have your child just commute to campus, right? So then you're just paying tuition and fees and maybe books and supplies and transportation. And then you have books and supplies as well, transportation, personal expenses, technology. Students tend to need more high-end technologies like laptops and so forth. So calculate how much financial aid you're going to get, right? So you could get grants from the institution. You could get all sorts of other types of scholarships you can apply for. That would be part of the calculation. Is your child going to work a part-time job? Is it going to be like a work study option? And also consider the inflation. Okay, so tuition typically increases greater than inflation historically. Um, so consider that as well. And then you really have to plan for contingencies. So what's going to happen if some unexpected expense comes up? Are you able to cover it? So another blog post I talk about saving in different types of college savings plans, especially a 529 college savings plan. So you really want to consider that as a primary saving vehicle for college. All right, so the whole point of this blog post is to really look at what is the true cost, what is the real cost of college for your child. And it's really good to put pencil to paper to really figure out what is the cost and come up with a strategy on how to save for college. And in my opinion, it's never too late to save for college. So reach out to me if I can be of service to talk more about college savings for your child. Have a great day.